Bai Susu has bound a dilapidated house system, focusing on recycling and selling garbage from all walks of life. She picked up trash in her hand as a peerless weapon that others were begging for. She caught the peerless precious beast that others were begging for as a snack at will. She took the long-awaited elixir that others were begging for, and ate it as expired sugar beans. There are also exotic items and exotic beasts that I have never seen before. At first, some people questioned, this is too exaggerated, it must be fake. Afterwards, I have no eyes, kneel down and beg to pick up the leak again. Bai Susu spread out his hand and said, my hands are slow, I've snatched them all. Novel keyword. Let you live stream to pick up trash, do you earn 100 times the profit? No pop-ups, allowing you to live stream and pick up trash, earning you 100 times the profit. Download the complete TXT collection, allowing you to live stream and pick up trash, and earn 100 times your profit. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Binding the Broken House System. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Binding the Broken House System. Hello everyone, welcome to my live broadcast room. It is a live broadcast room that integrates garbage collection and management. I am your lovely anchor Bai Susu. On a desolate and solemn land with a gloomy and black aura, Bai Susu walked and smirked at the huge projection that appeared in front of her. However, this smirk lasted for 2 seconds and couldn't be sustained. She kicked over a dilapidated small house model at her feet, grabbed a rusty knife at her feet, and exclaimed, this is what you mean by novice live streaming training. Who are you selling this pile of junk to? Before becoming this kind of anchor, she lived in an exile continent, a place where exiled prisoners lived. However, that place gradually became unsuitable for living. It was several seniors who worked hard to tear apart the space and sent her out, hoping to give her a way to survive. Unfortunately, she was trapped in a space crack after coming out, and then woke up to be told by this small house that she had become the owner of some shabby house. This cabin also told her that as long as she manages well and accumulates 1 million points, she can get a ticket to go back and save her seniors. She must have been confused at the time before believing its nonsense and starting the beginner guidance training. It said, what is simple, what gives you the maximum permission experience, what is qualified as long as you sell one thing, they are all lies that deceive people. This shabby cottage sent her to this ancient battlefield legacy, without even a trace of herself. The black wind still made her face ache, and the ground was littered with tattered garbage. There were countless broken knives like this in her hand. Host, you need to be clear again that I am a business that integrates garbage collection, super management system. Bai Susu took it over, I've heard you say it countless times. Can you say something I still don't know? The dilapidated house twirled twice on the ground, seeming anxious to say something new. Then, her gaze fixed on the rotten knife in her hand, and she jumped up and swallowed it in her mouth. A flawed knife, copper grade, 100 points. Under Bai Susu's puzzled gaze, he said, I can still identify and price it. You have to sell it at my price. Serious. At present, Bai Susu feels that the experience is extremely poor, and even has some doubts that this rundown cottage is a scammer. What she didn't know was that the scenes of her arguing with the dilapidated house were broadcasted to others from beginning to end. In the distant wasteland, a man practicing underground frowned as he looked at the projection that suddenly appeared in front of him. Just as he was about to wave his hand to disperse, he saw the rotten knife in Bai Susu's hand, and his eyes instantly widened. Is that the legendary Ningu blade that claims to be able to break through all defenses with just one strike? But in an instant, he shook his head again. It was impossible. The Ningu sword was the original weapon of Ningu Immortal Lord, and it had already fallen into the ancient battlefield with Ningu Immortal Lord. Could it be that he had gone crazy and had hallucinations? But this illusion was somewhat real. In his mind, when the heavens and humans were at war, the projection image in front of him changed again. A few huge monsters appeared behind the anchor at some point, with long pointed heads, shiny fur, and sharp teeth that were chilling to the eye. At this moment, they were lowering their bodies in a hunting posture. The ancient muntjac. His eyes were about to pop out. Where exactly is this little girl? This ancient muntjac beast is the favorite mount of a great power like Ninggu Xianjun. But that's not the point is that the ancient muntjac no longer exists. No, that's not the point either. The key is that an ancient muntjac has already opened its mouth wide, with its sharp teeth biting into the head of the anchor, who is still arguing with the jumping little room next to it without realizing it. He seemed to be in person, unconsciously exclaiming, "Be careful." But in the next second, this stunning scene transformed into another art style. The little girl who looked harmless to humans and animals didn't turn her head. The rotten knife in her hand was thrown out like it had eyes, and it hit the forehead of the ancient muntjac that attacked her. The ancient muntjac struggled twice and fell to the ground in response. After coming into contact with the anchor's low-pressure gaze, the remaining few ancient muntjac also ran away with their tails sandwiched between them. He also saw the anchor pull out the rotten knife from the forehead of the dead ancient muntjac beast and complain discontentedly towards the small room, "I just said it was a problem with your thing. Look, after using it once, it broke in half. How can we do business like this?" The shabby cottage was also surprised by Bai Susu's strength. It didn't know that this host was so fierce, but "These are not your garbage yet, I just gave you an experience to sell goods, and you ended up damaging everything inside. You have to lose money. Lose points. 500 points. When it came to points, Bai Susu was able to grasp her lifeline and lose her momentum. "I don't have points yet," she said after speaking, her stomach started growling uncontrollably. The 2 moves she made just now had exhausted her energy, and she was starving to death. "If you don't have points, you have to hurry up and sell. The shabby house is completely inhumane." Even Pang Yen in front of the projection frowned, making things so difficult for that little money. How much did that thing cost just now? He bought it, it was just a fake, and he also bought it. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Start of live streaming. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Start of live streaming. Bai Susu couldn't bear this annoying and dilapidated house anymore. Just a second before she was about to explode and beat it up, she suddenly saw something being sold. That broken knife in half was bought by someone. She immediately regained her energy and took the order spit out by the dilapidated house. Congratulations to Pang Yen, the immortal lord from the primordial realm. The item will be sent out for you immediately. Pang Yen had originally planned to say something in the comments section, but he couldn't figure it out for a while. Just as he finally figured out how to fix it, the live broadcast room disappeared completely. Pang Yen, he felt like he had really been deceived, so he said that Ninggu Dao could not be reproduced. Just as he was thinking with resentment that he would never believe in such a scam again, he suddenly felt that there was something inside the ring that appeared inexplicably after buying something in his hand. He took out the package in confusion, which was very exquisite. The small box was made of an unknown material, and he could still feel the slightest energy fluctuation. With a vigilant heart, he carefully opened the box, and his eyes widened instantly. This is actually the Ninggu knife that appeared in the live broadcast room just now, broken in 2. This Ninggu Dao is really broken and worn out, with rust all over its body, but Pang Yan's heart is hot. He knows that this Ninggu Dao cannot only be judged by its appearance. If it is really Ninggu Dao, he brought the Ninggu knife and hurriedly walked towards the deeper center of the earth. In the depths, the scorching magma was surging, just one spark away from exploding. Without any hesitation, he took out the Ninggu knife and carefully controlled it to be put into the boiling magma. It is rumored that the Ninggu knife was reborn from the fire. A colorful glow came from below the magma, and the cold sword energy instantly split open the magma. A brand new long sword appeared in front of him with a majestic aura. Pang Yen was taken aback, then burst out laughing boldly. He drew the Ninggu knife into his hand and casually swung it out. A huge crack was instantly opened in the surrounding rock walls, and the surrounding rock walls were collapsing. However, he remained calm and focused all his attention on the Ningu knife. Good. Good, good knife. On Bai Susu's side, after selling the rotten knife, it was once again transported to a place by the shabby house. Congratulations to the host for completing the beginner's trial and successfully selling an item to reward a rundown house. In front of her was a huge open space with 2 doors on either side. The location you are currently in is the garbage disposal room, and the door outside is the entrance of the shop, which is for external business operations. That other gate. At present, the conditions for opening have not been met. What does that garbage disposal room mean? The place I was just in. That's just a place to give you a beginner's trial experience. With the host's current abilities, you can't personally go to the scene to collect junk. Let me see, the host can only accept lottery trash now, which is the leftover from others. However, the host is still in the beginner stage, and I will give you another privilege. This time, I will give you only a small part of the leftover trash from the Taiku battlefield that I just took you to. After it finished speaking, a huge black hole appeared above its head, and a flurry of garbage fell from inside. Bai Susu also saw the ancient muntjac that she had killed before, but it was soon buried underneath. Accidentally, a small porcelain bottle fell into her hand, causing her nose to twitch, and she stuffed all the pills inside into her mouth. What did you eat? The dilapidated house couldn't help but be anxious. It was finally possible to have a qualified host. What if something was eaten indiscriminately and poisoned to death? A medicine that is good for the body. Her body passed through the crack in the space, but there was still a bit of it that did not recover. Looking at the dilapidated house with a hesitant expression, she said, "My intuition is very accurate. My seniors say I have a beast intuition." After holding the dilapidated house for a long time, I squeezed out a sentence and said, "This pile of garbage also has to be charged. It's 1,000 points credit for you. If you eat it all, you won't be able to sell it for a price. Our dilapidated house will be mortgaged out, and that's it. Bai Susu, let's talk about such important things earlier in the future. A rundown house, blame it. But it really has another important thing to say, the store in front also needs to be operated by people, you need to hire a clerk. Do you want to spend points again?" Bai Susu frowned. She hadn't received a single point yet, and the item she had previously sold was also deducted from her account by this dilapidated house. To make money, initial investment is essential, isn't that free? Fast to die for free. The tattered house said these words to make Bai Susu dispel the idea of white prostitution. But he didn't want Bai Susu to directly say, "Then comes someone who's going to die soon." However, although the dilapidated house did not quite agree with Bai Susu's stinginess, it also agreed to her unreliable request. It was thinking that if Bai Susu could see her helplessness towards life, she might be willing to spend money. However, these dying employees are not just there, they have to wait. As for when to wait, it depends on when there are suitable ones. Take her a little bit to understand the situation here, and the dilapidated house urged her to open a live streaming sales channel. For the first time, we can open a free audience channel for you. If you want to open another traffic channel later, you will need to spend 100 points. You have already understood the process of live streaming. Let's start now, earn more points, and strive to buy a shipping ticket as soon as possible. Bai Susu took a deep breath and first picked up something from the edge of the garbage heap to introduce it. This is an iron sword, a rusted iron sword. She just introduced it according to its appearance and performance, it has flow patterns on it. Well, although it's rusted, it's a bit sharp. Oh, there's also engraving. Bai Susu leaned the engraving closer to the projection and said, "Do you see it? 2 characters, Bai Zhou. Well, just 1,000 points. Wait, the points are not determined by you, it's me." The dilapidated house opened its mouth and swallowed the iron sword, then spat it out again the next second. Then there was an additional rating of copper in the void above the iron sword. Copper-grade junk can only sell for 100 points, as I told you. Karakara from the dilapidated house said. For a while, this dilapidated house needs my rating. There are a total of 4 levels. Copper grade, 100 points. Silver level, 500 points. Gold level, 1000 points. Supreme treasure, 10,000 points. These are all fixed pricing. Too much is not enough, too little is not enough, and cannot be sold casually. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Bai. Shock. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Bai. Shock. Bai Susu sighed in her heart. Sure enough, this is not a casual pricing, she said. She turned to the projector and said, I was wrong earlier. This broken iron sword has 100 points. If you have anything you want, just place an order. She still hasn't placed an order, but she was surprised to find that there were comments, but they were not good. Wumei Taoist in the cultivation world. Bai Su Dao Yu, who are you? How did you project this magic weapon onto my mansion? Wumei Taoist in the cultivation world. Pretend to be a god and play ghosts. If it's really a weapon carved by White Boat, it's at least at the highest treasure level. White Boat is a weapon forging master, and his weapon is a rare treasure in the entire cultivation world. You young man holding a broken sword, how dare you teach your family how to say it's made by a White Boat? This eyebrowless Taoist seems to be an understanding person. His words are clear and he speaks nonsense about the iron sword that Bai Susu just introduced. That's not made by Bai Zhou, Bai Susu said with a fake smile. Her voice rose a bit. A broken iron sword, 100 points. After speaking, she threw the iron sword to the ground. It seems that she cannot introduce it in too much detail. And the eyebrowless Taoist did not let her go because of her few words, but instead became even more severe in the comment section, teaching her to learn some crooked ways at a young age. Wumei Taoist in the cultivation world. Without any moral cultivation. Yes, you are always cultured. If you have free time, come here to teach me as salesperson. We are willing to fight and suffer, but if you don't like it, don't watch it. My place is just a rundown live broadcast room. Bai Susu was hungry, and now her temper is exploding, and she has been merciless for her strange behavior. The Taoist without eyebrows became even more irritable as he listened to her words. The comments in the comments section were one after another. In the end, it seemed like he couldn't help but curse. He wanted to nitpick on the things she sold. Wumei Taoist in the cultivation world. Your tattered items, as long as I see the actual object, anything I hammer out with just a few strokes is better than yours. After he finished speaking, he actually placed an order. Bai Susu didn't ship the goods in a timely manner and turned to ask the dilapidated house in a low voice, what if he buys something and goes back and destroys it, and then asks me for a refund? This dilapidated house does not support his behavior, but it supports the host to teach him a lesson in the past. Bai Susu pinched her fingers with a crackling sound. It was great, she waited. However, when it came to the issue of shipping, she asked the rundown house again, how did you send it to him? By the way, how did he buy it? She had been quite curious before. We have sent a ring to every potential buyer, which is very powerful. It can be received and supports various currency conversions anyway. It sounds quite impressive. Shipping is also very simple. Bai Susu handed over that thing to the dilapidated house and swallowed it. Even if it was shipped, the specific way to go afterwards is the matter of the dilapidated house. And the eyebrowless Taoist over there regretted buying that broken iron sword. That iron sword is selling 100 points in that so-called live broadcast room, but he bought it for 2 top-quality crystals. A top-grade crystal can be exchanged for a lower-grade crystal mine in this cultivation world. It's enough for an ordinary family of 3 to eat for a lifetime. And in order to take a gamble, he spent 2 top-quality crystals and bought a broken sword. This gut almost made him regret it. He fell for that anchor's provocation. Just as he was thinking about whether this thing could be returned, the broken sword actually arrived. It arrived quite quickly, definitely not a good thing. He became even more determined in his heart. He has also considered whether this is a new conspiracy of the enemy family, but now he has achieved great success in his cultivation period. In this lower realm, he can be said to be invincible, and his strong strength has given him a reassurance. He took out the broken iron sword from the ring. Don't mention it, the packaging is quite decent, a square gift box. Wait a minute. The Taoist without eyebrows furrowed his brow, carefully staring at the gift box, and then holding it in his hand, he carefully felt the energy that could be absorbed on the packaging box. Of course, this energy is insignificant to him, but you should understand that it is just a packaging box. If this thing is given to a child who has just entered the world of cultivation, it will definitely be useful for thousands of miles in a day. He couldn't help but put away the slight contempt in his heart. Does that iron sword really have something? Thinking of this, his hands trembled a bit. If it were really a white boat forging a sword, he eagerly opened the gift box. At the moment the gift box was opened, a sharp sword energy rushed towards him. His invincible body, which was full and round during the refining period, was unexpectedly cut. The small scar oozed blood droplets, and although the wound healed quickly, the harm it caused him was real. Just this point alone can prove that this iron sword has truly reached the stage of treasure. His heart was stirred, and this was just the sword energy emanating from the iron sword casually. If he could guide and use it well, this sword would be more than enough to slay a fellow-level cultivator named Yuanman. He took out the sword with trembling hands, and the 2 characters, white boat, on the sword body were clearly without any deception. He infused a bit of spiritual energy into the sword, and the next second, the tattered iron sword burst into light, as if in a different form, with a sharp sense of being unique in the world. It's a white boat, surprisingly it's really a white boat. Only 2 top-quality spirit stones, I have bought a weapon made of white boat. Make a big profit, make a big profit. At this moment, the eyebrowless Taoist had already forgotten his original intention of buying this iron sword, and now he is ecstatic. Holding the precious white boat iron sword, he carefully cared for it for a while without putting it down. As if remembering something, he quickly put the iron sword away with great care. That anchor named Bai Susu must have other treasures in his hands. He needs to take pictures of this treasure before everyone discovers it. Bai Susu was still waiting for the Wumei Taoist to cause trouble, but he didn't want to. The Wumei Taoist seemed to have disappeared, without any movement. She shook her head and continued selling. This time, she took out a strange egg from the pile of junk, which had a strange metallic luster. When she knocked it twice, it also made a crisp metallic sound. This time she remembered and stuffed it into the mouth of the dilapidated house first. The egg of a certain creature, aged too long and of copper grade, was quickly rated by the dilapidated house. This call reached Bai Susu's mouth and he said, "Rotten egg, 100 points." She stared at the egg and remained silent for 2 seconds, licking her lips. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Who has such foresight? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Who has such foresight? This egg looks simple and delicious, she whispered. If she had seen this egg just now, she would have eaten it raw. She might have already eaten it now, so she doesn't have to go hungry. Just her low voice, projected onto the person in the live broadcast room, is still very loud. Xiuzhen Realm Yulingfeng. You actually said you want to eat this egg. Do you know what egg this egg is? In the comments section, there were finally other people speaking in groups of 3 or 2. Bai Susu carefully read his comments and then answered seriously, I know what kind of egg. A copper-rated egg is worth 100 points, and I can use my life to guarantee it to you. It can definitely be eaten. Xiuzhen Realm Yulingfeng. Am I talking about food issues? That's a precious spirit beast egg. It's a phoenix egg. Our beast master has been searching for 100 years, but we only found a dead egg. Yu Lingfeng was really angry. He came in relatively late and heard Bai Susu's introduction. He hadn't realized that this was a seller yet, so he heard her say he wanted to eat the phoenix egg. But he was so angry. The treasure that their family had been searching for so hard, this woman actually said she wanted to eat it. Bai Susu, wow, it turns out to be such a powerful egg. With 100 points, whoever buys it will get it. Phoenix egg. It sounds quite impressive, but they are in exile on the mainland and don't enjoy this kind of thing. At this moment, Yu Lingfeng, who was feeling angry, realized it. Cultivation World Yu Lingfeng. You're actually trying to sell this egg. How much is it? Sell it to me. Bai Susu pretended to smile and said, 100 points, the old and the young are fair. How many times do she have to say that 100 points is 100 points, why don't you understand? Yu Lingfeng really wants to buy it. Their family has been hoping for a phoenix egg for over 100 years. As long as they have this phoenix egg, their family is expected to continue to maintain the names of the 3 major imperial beast families this time. It took him a while to figure out what Bai Susu meant by 100 points, 2 top quality spirit stones. For children like him, generally speaking, these 2 top quality spirit stones are not particularly abundant and can be taken out. However, the problem is that he is not ordinary. He is the eldest son of a useless family member. He has the ability, but cannot make a contract. Although his parents love him as the clan leader, they cannot resist the abandonment of the big family, so he cannot get so much pocket money. Xiuzhen Realm Yu Lingfeng. Can I credit the account first? Bai Susu shook his head and said, no, I can't buy or sell small books. I don't accept credit. Can you keep it for me first? I'll gather enough money and buy it. Bai Susu, no way. It's not that she deliberately made things difficult, it's the rule of a rundown house, no belongings left, whoever buys it gets it. If we keep this and that too, and in the end no one pays and no one else can buy it, wouldn't we all smash our hands? After hearing Bai Susu's answer, Yu Lingfeng gritted his teeth and quickly transmitted the message to his father, Dad, there are too many others first. Give me 2 top quality spirit stones quickly, I want to buy phoenix eggs. Otherwise, someone else may snatch them away soon. When Yu Lingfeng was transmitting the message, there was a person who was crazily trying to pay to buy this phoenix egg, but no matter how he paid or submitted the order, they all rejected it. This person is the eyebrowless Taoist who wants a second repurchase. To be honest, the Taoist without eyebrows was really sweating at this moment. Looking at the projection that couldn't be paid, he really wanted to get in and see what was going on. After countless attempts failed, he finally remembered to ask Bai Susu what was going on. Wumei Taoist in the cultivation world. Bai Xiaoyu, why can't I make a purchase? Is there something wrong with your live broadcast room? Bai Susu watched as no one had been taking pictures of the phoenix egg, so she handed it to the dilapidated house for it to sort, while she was picking up something else inside the pile of junk. It was also at this moment when she saw the comments of the eyebrowless Taoist that she remembered something and said, I think you're annoying, I've made you black. When the eyebrowless Taoist bought the first item, the rundown house reminded her that she had sold a product and rewarded her with the authority to blackmail buyers. At that time, the dilapidated house asked her if there was anyone she wanted to blackmail, and she didn't even think about it before reporting the frownless Taoist. Originally, pulling black meant that he could speak up, but he was not allowed to buy anything. Didn't you say my things are fake? Why do you still want to buy them? The Taoist without eyebrows listened to her words and felt regretful. Why did he say those words with a low mouth at that time? But he could both pick it up and put it down. In order to pick up those treasures, he spared no effort in this old face. He apologized with a shy face. It was me who was rude, it was me who said the wrong thing, Anchor, what you are selling are all good things. Wumei Taoist in the cultivation world. Please don't blackmail me, young friends. Let's make friends. Wumei Taoist in the cultivation world. If someone says that my friend's things are fake again, I, the Wumei Taoist, will go and open his lair. Wumei Taoist in the cultivation world. Little friend, to be honest with you, I am an alchemist. I dare not say that I am the most powerful, but I also have some reputation. Little friend, make friends. Where is your position? I'll give you 2 bottles of pills as compensation. Danielle. Pills, like this. Bai Susu looked at some poison that she had previously picked out at her feet. She picked it up and shook it at the screen, saying, "This eyebrowless Taoist, thank you for your kindness. It's not lacking." And her intuition also told her that there are many pills in that garbage dump. Although the bottle of the elixir only flashed by, the Taoist without eyebrows still saw a hint clearly, and his eyes were about to burst out. Is that an immortal elixir that everyone in the world is eager for? He howled even harder in the live broadcast room. Little friend, please, I have money, let me buy it. Cultivation World Eyeless Taoist. I, the eyeless Taoist, kneel down and apologize to you. Please don't forget about the villains. I am blind. After all, he was also giving money to himself and could turn enemies into friends in front of interests. Bai Susu asked if he could pull out the dilapidated house again. It's all a small problem. With just a little manipulation of the dilapidated house, it was pulled out of the small black room by the Taoist without eyebrows. The eyebrowless Taoist was grateful and immediately wanted to place an order to buy the phoenix egg, but it got stuck on the payment interface. Looking again, why is this thing all taken down? He immediately found Bai Susu again. Wumei Taoist in the cultivation world. Little friend, why can't I buy it yet? Bai Susu glanced at the order and said, "Oh, you're one step late, someone else has already taken the order." The Taoist without eyebrows is really getting angry. Who is more discerning than him? Those people have never bought it before. Why buy it so quickly? These are 2 top quality spirit stones. Why are you fighting so hard? They're not afraid. What if it's fake? End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Buying Hope. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Buying Hope. Bai Susu looked at the person who placed the order, surprised, but not so surprised. It was Yu Lingfeng who asked her if she could get credit. The dilapidated house is also happy on the side. Congratulations to the player for selling another thing, giving you 10 free traffic. After finishing speaking about the dilapidated house, Bai Susu saw that there were 10 more people in this live broadcast room. Adding the previous May Free Taoist and Yu Lingfeng, there are 12 people in her live broadcast room. Now she has also realized that Yu Lingfeng was a gift of traffic after her first sale. At that time, she didn't understand what giving her a traffic gift meant. It turned out to be like this. The dilapidated house continues to be happy. Players are advised to continue selling goods and reach 100 views. New features will be activated when the time comes. It drew a big cake for Bai Susu, a new feature that the host will definitely love at this time. The room of Yu Lingfeng in the Imperial Beast House was crowded with the elders of the family. When he was delivering the message to his father, he was holding a family meeting to preserve the reputation of the 3 royal beasts, and all the elders were present. His voice startled everyone. Everyone gathered in his room, wanting to see that phoenix egg. However, after watching the live broadcast, everyone was very skeptical. One by one, they chattered incessantly that he was unreliable. For example, how could a phoenix egg be bought with 2 top quality crystals? It must be fake. For example, this must be an enemy scam. Also advise his father to teach him a lesson, saying that he is so old and doesn't have a brain yet, easily believing what others say. Some people say he caused trouble and even caused trouble during the survival of this family, thinking that the family was not chaotic enough. Anyway, all kinds of voices are not optimistic. This has made Yu Lingfeng extremely anxious. He had already seen the eyebrowless Taoist saying he wanted to buy that phoenix egg. He anxiously explained to his father, just 2 top-quality spirit stones would be enough. What if they were real? If they were really phoenix eggs, then our family would be saved. Because he was anxious, he couldn't help but speak a bit loudly. Even if he was deceived, it's just 2 top-quality crystals. If you're still worried, Dad, then I'll give you back 2 top-quality crystals. Let me borrow them from you. Watching the eyebrowless Taoist's low voice and willingness to buy, Yu Lingfeng became even more anxious. If you hesitate any longer, then the phoenix egg will be bought by someone else. Some people question, so what kind of eyebrowless Taoist is not with that anchor? The stubborn attitude of those elders who refuse to accept oil and salt really drives Yu Lingfeng to death. I finally saw the hope of the family's rise, but these people are still hesitant. Seeing that Bai Susu had already promised the eyebrowless Taoist to allow him to buy, his heart was cold. There's no chance, their family has no chance. And at that critical moment, his father actually said, "It's rare that my son has something he likes to buy." He didn't say it was because he believed in the phoenix that he bought it. To be honest, he didn't believe that 2 crystals could really buy a phoenix. It was just because Yu Lingfeng hadn't begged him like this for a long time to say he wanted something. Even if it was really a scam, buying a son and being happy was just 2 top-quality crystals that he could afford. When those elders heard his words, they all said that he was old and confused. However, Yu Lingfeng took the spirit stone from his side and didn't even have time to say thank you. He quickly placed the order, which was just ahead of the eyebrowless Taoist. Looking at the successful payment page, he almost cried. He bought phoenix egg. At this moment, he had the opportunity to express his gratitude to his father. "Thank you for being willing to believe me, Dad. I have a premonition that this is the real phoenix egg." The elders all have a lively appearance. If only 2 top-quality crystals could buy phoenix eggs, they don't want to be elders anymore. They just come to this so-called live broadcast room to squat as babies. They secretly cursed the clan leader for spoiling the child and causing them to lose their head, thinking about whether they should unite with others to re-elect the clan leader. While everyone was having different thoughts, Bai Susu had already packed his things and even took a special look at him in front of the camera. "This buyer, thank you for your trust. Your things have been packed and will be sent out immediately. Please check them carefully," he said at the moment when Yu Lingfeng received the item with a nervous heart. His mood was really complicated, even a little afraid of opening the packaging. And those elders who watched the excitement were even more mischievous. "Maybe that's a real phoenix egg, but she gave you a switch. Some people are willing to believe such a scam, it's really." Yu Lingfeng took a deep breath and looked up at the clan leader's father, who gave him a firm look. Before the things arrived, Yu Lingfeng didn't actually have much pressure, but now that the things arrived, he felt a huge pressure instead. The reason why these elders dare to treat his father like this is because he has a useless son like him. If this is really a fake egg, Yu Lingfeng suddenly felt a bit timid. As if sensing his timidity, his father spoke up and said, "I'll dismantle it. The phoenix egg is a treasure. If it were to be broken, it wouldn't be good." Father is always defending him. He stood on the side, watching his father carefully open the package. When the package was opened, there was no fancy packaging or anything protective, and the egg with a metallic luster was placed in the very center. At that moment, everyone's gaze involuntarily focused on the egg. "I really gave an egg," someone murmured. The first person to react was Yu Lingfeng's father, who immediately and professionally protected the egg. His voice was serious. "Quickly, go and ask Madam to take a look. His wife is an expert in this field." Before the elders could react, Yu Lingfeng was already very excited and jumped up. I'll go find my mother. Dad, you must protect that phoenix egg." The imperial beast family was in chaos. Upon hearing this shocking news, Lady Yu carefully assessed every detail and finally confirmed that it was a real phoenix egg, or a living phoenix egg. The elders who used to be so weird were speechless at this moment. They didn't expect that Yu Lingfeng, whom they regarded as useless, would actually spend 2 top-quality crystals to buy a living phoenix egg. At this moment, Yu Lingfeng's father finally raised his eyebrows and breathed a sigh of relief. He patted Yu Lingfeng's shoulder and laughed heartily. "See, my son of Yu Jingtian. Because of this phoenix egg, their 3 major names of the beast house have been preserved." Those elders who had mocked before couldn't laugh anymore. They secretly jotted down the live broadcast room and asked the younger generation how to watch it. They also have things to buy, such cheap things. They also have to pick up leaks. At this point, Bai Susu has not yet received their feedback, and she has not continued to broadcast the 3rd item because her dying employee suddenly received the goods. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. New Employees. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. New Employees. The new employee descended from the sky, lying on the brink of death in front of the projection. The dilapidated house reminds Bai Susu, "This is the employee you want. See, he's dying and won't be useful at all." Bai Susu ignored and pushed the new employee forward, making him face up. The new employee is a man with injuries all over his body, and the areas without injuries are also blue and purple. Even his face has been destroyed, with several unsightly scars on it. The blood stains on the clothes have scabbed and the color is extremely dull, as if it has dried up and continued to bleed and soak. The new employee lay motionless except for a faint breath. She raised her hand and pressed on the new employee a few times, then wrinkled her small nose to sniff, and finally ran into the pile of garbage and flipped it over. The dilapidated house kept following behind her and singing a funeral. "Everyone said they wanted you to hire a good one, but now it's going to die. Wait, what are you doing?" The dilapidated house watched helplessly as Bai Susu took out a few more bottles and jars and came over this way. "That's all points." It urgently reminded her. "If it's not sold, it's not a point, let alone, it can save people. I have this intuition. Since you want to spend some points to save him, why don't you just spend some points to hire a good employee?" The rundown house doesn't understand her. "You don't understand. If you pay with points, the real points will be deducted. I feel heartbroken when I look at them. Although these things were also bought with points, they pile up there like a pile of garbage. Before you determine the price, it gives me the feeling of not wanting to pay, and it doesn't hurt to use them. And, if you hire employees as you said, can't we settle the accounts on time? I don't understand the dilapidated house, so what about now she plans not to give money?" Bai Susu smiled, but there was no intention of explaining to it. These situations were all projected onto the big screen in real time, and everyone in the live broadcast room also saw the miserable situation of the employee, watching as Bai Susu had to go for treatment, making assertions one by one. White medicine master in the realm of cultivation. It's impossible for those few bottles of elixirs alone to save lives. Even my teacher cannot claim to have refined elixirs that can bring death back to life. White medicine master in the realm of cultivation. That kind of pill must be of an incredible level. Not only the strength of cultivators now, but also those incredible medicinal herbs cannot be found. White medicine master in the realm of cultivation. Little friend, you are in a hurry to seek medical treatment. Your behavior will only accelerate his death. The Taoist without eyebrows also impatiently thrust sideways. Cultivation World Eyeless Taoist. Yes, little friend, listen to this white medicine master. Don't waste that pill on that dead person. Sell it to me and I'll pay a high price. White medicine master in the realm of cultivation. You believe what I say, this eyebrowless Taoist. I am very grateful, but don't buy pills randomly. This young friend's level of refining medicine is unknown, so he was casually pulled out from the ground. It can't be said to be a poisonous pill. You will definitely suffer a loss if you buy it back. The Taoist without eyebrows looked at his lengthy speech and was extremely annoyed. Now that he was speaking so well, maybe he would have to compete with him later. It's annoying. Cultivation World Eyeless Taoist. Don't worry about me, I just love to buy, don't compete with me later. The white medicine master couldn't help but advise the Taoist without eyebrows, as he looked at his lack of oil and salt. He just didn't want to see anyone use the name of pills to deceive him. In his opinion, the Taoist without eyebrows had already been deeply poisoned, and he had to rescue him from water and fire. They were arguing fiercely in this live broadcast room. Unfortunately, Bai Susu turned his back to them to save people and didn't even look at them. Bai Susu picked up a small bottle and poured out all the pills inside. Not much, there were a total of 5 pills. After a moment of contemplation, she stuffed all the pills into the new employee's mouth. The white medicine master, who was originally arguing with the eyeless Taoist, was about to burst into tears when he saw this scene. White medicine master in the realm of cultivation. Stop it quickly, this will harm him. Just the medicinal effect may cause him to explode and die. As soon as he posted this comment, he saw the man on the ground writhing in pain. He posts more frequent comments. White medicine master in the realm of cultivation. As I said, he will die like this, and you will harm him. Your pill is impossible to save him. He wanted to say more, but saw the man who had been writhing in pain the previous second sit up the next second. White medicine master in the realm of cultivation. He paced around his cave, puzzled by the solution. How could the pill possibly take effect? What widened his eyes even more was that the employee was still standing up unsteadily. The only intact eye on his face turned lifelike, with a hint of confusion. The white medicine master wished he could crawl into that screen and carefully examine why. And the deceived Taoist without eyebrows is still criticizing him, saying that he is not as skilled as others and should not come out to make a fool of himself. The white medicine master is really getting angry. What is his current status and level? The people outside are begging him to refine medicine for them, and he still wants to come to this small live broadcast room to cause trouble. He was about to leave comments with a crackling sound, and a string in his mind suddenly tightened. Being deceived. He seemed to suddenly realize that this so-called live broadcast room was a scammer's live broadcast room, and the seriously injured person might be his accomplices. They deliberately played such a play to deceive all of them. That eyebrowless Taoist is the one who has been deeply poisoned. After thinking about these things, the white medicine master was not angry anymore. He just held his breath and heard the eyeless Taoist say that this pill is still for sale. He wants to buy all this pills back and personally expose the conspiracy of that anchor. He is a righteous person, he cannot allow anyone to deceive in their cultivation world. Bai Susu knew nothing about these. She looked at the new employee who was still somewhat confused in front of her and waved her hand in front of him. The new employee's eyes were cold, and the conditioned reflex was to fold Bai Susu's hand. But the next second, Bai Susu just flicked at his wrist, which immediately felt numb and unable to move. It took him a while to recover. He held his wrist and looked at Bai Susu again, his eyes becoming even more bewildered. I am your life-saving benefactor. Is this your attitude towards life-saving benefactors? Bai Susu crouched there, curiously poking his face. The injury was quite serious, but unfortunately the medicine was not for treating his face. The life-saving benefactor. The new employee reacted for 2 seconds, looked down at the wounds on his body that had healed 7 or 8 times, and murmured, "Thank you for saving me." "You're welcome, new employee." Bai Susu smiled, "What's your name?" The man had not yet reacted to the term, new employee, when he heard Bai Susu's question and instinctively said, "Dragon descendant." "Very good, Long Yi. Starting from today, you will be working for me for a lifetime." End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Inconsistency between words. You are listening at novel full.audio. This translator is experiencing an error, please try another translator. Chapter 8. Counterview. You are listening at novel full.audio. Chapter 8 Counterview. Hello, Lao Bai, I came over quickly with the pill that had left a stove behind. If you don't have any urgent matters, do you think I'm in a hurry with you? Zhou Dan, the friend of Bai Yaoshi, came in from outside the mansion with a loud voice and saw the huge projection as soon as he entered. Oh, Lao Bai, what are you? What's the new magic weapon you've refined? Zhou Dan leaned forward and touched it curiously. No, isn't that right? Aren't you an old kid who only knows how to refine pills? He was puzzled when he heard Bai Susu calling out the name of Bai Yaoshi in the projection. Bai Yaoshi, please check your package carefully. Your item has already been shipped. Has it been shipped? Old Bai, what's this thing? How do you still know your name? Zhou Dan really didn't understand, but the projection successfully piqued his curiosity. Look at you, it's not over. I can't even introduce you in time. The white medicine master said after a few words, it's just right. You came just right. This thing has arrived. Let's study it together. I must expose those two people's scams. As he spoke, the white medicine master had already taken the things out of the ring. However, just the packaging surprised the pharmacist a little. Zhou Dan next to him said, Old Bai, what kind of treasure are you? This packaging has energy that radiates outward. It must be a cover-up. Although the white medicine master felt a little uneasy in his heart, he still felt it was a scam. He was filled with righteous indignation and told Zhou Dan what happened in the live broadcast room, then angrily said, You just said, how could such an outrageous thing be? How effective is a pill that can save lives? That person took almost a bottle of pills, but there was nothing wrong with it. Do you think there's a problem? Zhou Dan let out a hiss. Both of them were old monsters who had lived for hundreds of years. They had been refining alchemy for hundreds of years and had never heard of such a thing. Strange, it's either fake or real, he said. Bai Yaoshi, Jing said some nonsense. While he was unpacking the package, he continued to roast about Bai Susu. And that woman, who was not hurt at all, because I said it might be a poison pill, and then she took one by herself. Zhou Dan asked curiously, what about the result? The white medicine master was really rolling his eyes, pointing to the projection and saying, Isn't that still there? Zhou Dan seemed to have finally connected everything together at this moment, and he exclaimed, A normal person who takes a pill with such a strong medicinal effect must have exploded and died. That's why I said it. The white medicine master gradually became irritable. I need to refine some brain medicine for you to change your innocence. Don't talk about any brain medicine. This is the pill in your hand. Look at how careful you are. Give it to me, I'll open it. Zhou Dan, who was also impatient, took the packaging box from the hands of the white pharmacist. Two elderly men over 1,000 years old frowned as they stared at a small bottle in their palms. Why do I look a bit familiar with this bottle? Zhou Dan spoke first. The Bai Yao master also said, I really feel the energy fluctuations of the pill through this bottle. The two exchanged a glance and became more cautious. Open it and take a look. Old Zhou, why don't you go back first? It seems like I can handle this myself, said Bai Yaoshi. Suddenly back out. Old Bai, who are you? I don't know yet. With a good treasure, everyone needs to share it, and I am more authoritative in this area. Zhou Dan was also a little anxious. I scrapped a furnace of pills, it's just for your sake. The arrow was on the string and had to be fired. It was too late for Bai Yaoshi to back out now. Zhou Dan had already poured out the pill before him. A few round and smooth pills still emit a faint medicinal fragrance. Even after staying in Zhou Dan's hand for 2 seconds, the pill swung out a colorful halo, as if consciously trying to escape from his hand. Fortunately, Zhou Dan reacted quickly and immediately installed them back. The two old men excitedly covered the small bottle, looked at each other, and their hearts pounded. Old Bai, good thing, have you seen it? I see, conscious, colorful halo. A pill with consciousness is a pill of grade 8 or above. The medicine is divided into 10 grades, the higher the quality, the higher the grade. 8-grade pills are all top-notch pills. Now in their cultivation world, those who can refine 7th grade are already masters who are praised by everyone. Bai Yaoshi and Zhou Dan are 7th grade alchemists. But this suddenly appearing pill is an 8th grade. And there is also a rainbow halo, which indicates that this pill is also the top among its peers. Old Bai, where did you say it came from? How much did it cost to buy it? Zhou Dan's voice trembled slightly as he spoke. I just said this bottle looks familiar. A few days ago at the auction, I saw a treasure that said it was from a relic. I only spent 10 top-quality spirit stones. The voice of the white pharmacist also trembled, and later he thought of the one that was eaten by Bai Susu. He patted his thigh regretfully. Why did I say that one more thing at that time? She actually ate one and wasted a lot of money. Zhou Dan's eyes were hot and he said, so, Lao Bai, I'll give you 100. No, 10,000 top-quality spirit stones, you can sell me one. The Bai Yao master immediately put away the things and pushed Zhou Dan outside, not for sale, not for much. Old Zhou, just pretend you don't know about this and go back. Old Zhou was also anxious. So, if you're like this, tell me the channel through which you bought it and let me buy it too. He even said, we've been old friends for hundreds of years. Did you refuse to call me over so urgently? No matter what the argument may be on the buyer's end, Bai Susu is not sure. She is just selling her goods. Because she sold another product and added 10 more traffic in the live broadcast room. Although it hasn't reached 100 traffic yet, so far, compared to the first 1 or 2 people, there have been quite a few. Everyone's needs are different, she needs to speed up. Moreover, although Long Yi, a migrant worker, doesn't speak much, he occasionally provides constructive suggestions. For example, increasing the display effect of items and so on. It's quite good, but it's not very easy to organize. There is no clear reference point that everyone knows about here. In the future, it may be carried out like this, but currently, it's not enough. With traffic, there will be more people speaking in this comment section, and there will also be reasonable requests for purchases. For example, now there is a person named Fierce Demon asking about armor. Fierce Demon in the cultivation realm. What armor is the one on the top left? Take a look. Bai Susu noticed that he had been staying in the live broadcast room before, probably watching it all the time, and now he finally wants to try it. This is a good phenomenon. She also saw the armor he mentioned, but in fact, it was not armor. That's just a fragment of armor. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. We have money. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This translator is experiencing an error, please try another translator. Chapter 10. Plan for opening a store. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Plan for opening a store. Their comments gave Bai Susu different ideas. She discussed with the dilapidated house and said, since it's something I cast, can I price it directly without going through you? She specifically pointed to the comments on the screen and said, you see, everyone is very enthusiastic about wanting to buy things. If you don't make money, then you are a fool. A rundown house is certainly not a fool. In fact, it's not impossible for you to set a price. I haven't talked to you about the specific details of the store in front of me yet, have I? Since you have asked, I will tell you that as long as the things you refine can reach gold level or above, you can sell them in the front store, and you can set your own price, but a major turning point has occurred in the dilapidated house, where the price can be set, but you cannot overcharge. For gold-grade items, the price must be between 1,000 and 10,000 yuan, and you cannot exceed this price. However, it also has a sequel. If it's the supreme treasure, then let's talk about it separately. The supreme treasure, you can ask for any price you want, whether it's up or down. Really? Bai Susu suddenly didn't believe it. Really, you will know the specific situation later. It's too early for you to say these things now. You just need to know that the stores in front can set prices for you as you please. Bai Susu's mind twitched and she immediately came up with a good promotional strategy. She asked the dilapidated house, "Is the shop ahead open to the public? Can they all come?" She refers to those people from the cultivation world outside the screen. Of course, we have physical stores. The old saying goes, it's not time to say these things yet, you don't have the qualifications to open a shop. Gold level, there will be some. Bai Susu was full of enthusiasm for a while, and took advantage of this opportunity to promote. Thank you for your enthusiasm. I have good news for everyone. Our store is about to open in your cultivation world. Welcome everyone to come early, and there is still a chance to choose. In the cave of the Taoist without eyebrows, he is really excited. In this live broadcast room, I don't know why, he always can't get it. Those who say they don't buy will always be the first to buy it. If there is a store here, he will definitely go there as soon as possible. He's rubbing his hands, he must buy all those good things. He will never let anyone take the lead. Bai Yaoshi and Zhou Dan were also quite excited, with Zhou Dan being the main one. So I can go and beg this seller to bring me into such a live broadcast room, they said. The white pharmacist kept rolling his eyes when he heard these words. If those outside knew that the master they had been seeking to see was so humble that they wanted to please a salesperson, their eyes would drop. However, he thought it was normal because he also had this idea. If he saw the shop owner, he would definitely beg her to leave some good things for him. And the elders of the Beast House. Did you hear that? The seller said they have a store, but I don't know if they will open it in our area. What are you talking about? Even if you're far away, you have to go. That's a shop that can make all of our beast families go crazy. Yu Lingfeng is really helpless, don't even believe what he said. What about the promised scammer? Anyway, the promotion of Bai Susu's store has attracted the attention of both those who buy goods in the live broadcast room and those who don't. Words like, definitely coming, have been brushed off by loyal customers. Looking at Bai Susu, he was also quite happy. The dilapidated house couldn't help but start proposing again. Now the momentum is good, why don't you spend another 100 points and open individual channels? This way, the traffic will immediately increase. If you can have 100 traffic early, you can open the feature I told you that you will definitely like. To be honest, Bai Susu is the most formidable host it has ever seen in a dilapidated house. In all aspects, but one thing is that she is also the most stingy host it has ever seen. Other hosts are willing to spend money, so they built the framework of a commercial empire under its advice early on. Although they may not have been able to spend their lives and were killed by some garbage early on, those are not important. What is important is that they are willing to spend money. Its shabby house is about wanting to get rid of all its treasures early on. It has many hidden functions, but Bai Susu is not willing to spend money. But this time it was a bit abnormal, and Bai Susu actually agreed. When the dilapidated house heard this, it was still somewhat surprised. Are you really willing to spend 100 points? Bai Susu naturally said, of course, if you make money, you have to spend it. We are still in the initial stage, and the initial investment is to invest more. Only with greater investment will there be higher returns in the future. If you don't understand this, don't command recklessly. The dilapidated house is really unjustified. It's clearly something you didn't want to spend a penny on before. No, I'm just observing to see if it's profitable, Bai Susu denied. If you want to make big money, you have to invest big money, as my seniors taught me. Only in this way can one buy a boat ticket early, relying solely on saving money is not enough to save on a boat ticket. The dilapidated house was speechless. I spent 100 points to open another channel, and immediately someone spoke in the comment section. The people in this channel are very talkative. Primitive Calm Clan. What is this thing? Primitive Calm Clan. I seem to be able to speak, have everyone seen it? Primitive Calm Clan. I see. They seem to be talking to themselves. Bai Susu gave them a brief introduction to the live broadcast room in a neat manner, and then prepared to introduce the products again. But before she could introduce her, the Primitive Calm Clan directly asked. Do you have weapons? Are you a peddler selling things? Our village has been attracting a wave of beasts recently, and all the weapons are worn out. They are not at all impressed. However, Bai Susu was quite happy to directly state her needs. As far as she could see, she saw a long gun standing tall in the garbage dump. A green thread flew out of his hand and pulled the long spear directly into his hand. As for the weapon, how about this long spear? She played a few firecrackers in her hand and threw it to the dilapidated house for identification. Silver level, 500 points. This is actually a silver level 1. Bai Susu carefully glanced at the long spear in his hand again, and there was nothing special about it. It was just that the killing intent was a bit stronger. Long spear, there aren't any particularly big flaws. I've tried it on your behalf and it feels good. 500 points. When playing firecrackers on Bai Susu's side, people from two places were very busy. One is the Primitive Calm Clan. A primitive tribe located in a vast forest, with a group of people gathered in front of a large projection, enjoying the sight. When Bai Susu took out the long spear, several men who had come back from hunting happened to pass by and immediately said, "This thing is really suitable for our clan leader to use. If the clan leader had this weapon, we wouldn't have to be afraid of the beast tide." End of this chapter.